Hello from Plymouth, Michigan. Hello, it's Tuesday, May the 1st. Hi, my name's Kirk Kasanowski from Hospice Advisors. Hospice Advisors is a boutique coaching, training, and consulting company. We work with hospices primarily, some home personal care and skilled home care companies, and some health systems on how to serve more people and grow. That's sort of our expertise. And as I do this video today, we're going to try to do a little vignette every Tuesday to share some information for people that are involved in the hospice industry on how to serve more people and grow. And the industry is rapidly changing, healthcare is rapidly changing, and Greg and I, our commitment to our colleagues is to be very transparent, to be very open, and provide as much information as we can for people that are interested in looking at how they can grow and establish a more solid-based, quality-based, growth-based hospice company. Again, I said my name's Kirk Kasanowski from Hospice Advisors, and what we want to talk, my partner right now is actually in Albuquerque, New Mexico, working with a hospice there. I'm on a plane later today out to the Philadelphia area, working with some hospices, and what we really focus on, one of the primary things I want to talk about today, Greg and I have established 7 pillars of growth that if an organization, a hospice organization, this applies really to hospice, home care, any organization in healthcare, 7 pillars need to be in place and finally balanced, polished, and tuned to serve more people and have predictable growth. Serving people is what our mission is in healthcare, and growth is a good business objective that, done correctly, is the way to serve more people and live out your mission. So we look at working with organizations to help them fulfill their business objectives as well as their mission objectives. So one of the first pillars, I want to spend a little time talking about that today because I'm going to be spending some time when I'm in Philadelphia with this group looking at talking about creating a culture of growth. And as Greg and I, and the reason I'm not in Albuquerque today is because I'm going to Philadelphia. So Greg has a great pleasure of being down in the land of enchantment. That's New Mexico's tagline, Land of Enchantment, FYI, to help that organization enhance its culture of growth. When I say culture of growth, people automatically think, oh, that's a business development marketing strategy. What does it have to do with me if I'm not in that department? Well, it has everything to do with you. A culture of growth is specifically geared towards and talks about service excellence. It's a leadership strategy, and it involves the whole organization to provide that excellent service and go up and beyond, because hospice, as we know, and the people that are involved in hospice, families and patients, it's a very stressful time, and hospice can be messy at times in terms of just all the complexities and the emotions that are going on, that it takes a village to service that family and patient. Now, it's interesting to me that the hospice benefit was built upon an interdisciplinary model of care. Physicians, nurses, volunteers, home health aides, social workers, chaplain bereavement services, etc. These people sit down on a regular basis and discuss the clients and families and patients that they're caring for to make sure their care plan is spot on and running smoothly. And that's what I love about the hospice benefit in terms of it forcing, if you will, the organization, if they want to be compliant and stay a eligible hospice organization, practicing that interdisciplinary model of care. Now, what's interesting to me, why is it that we approach our patient care that way, but when we look at growing our business and account development, we send our marketing peoples out there, and I know a lot of hospices are getting better and they're engaging some of the clinical folks, but they're sending their account executives out there and saying, go get us business. And they beat up on them consistently if they don't hit their targets. Wouldn't it make more sense to take an interdisciplinary approach, creating a culture of growth in an organization to grow its business by working with the 9 segments that hospice basically receives referrals from, hospitals, senior living communities, etc., and tailoring how you can utilize the wisdom, power of the interdisciplinary team to create differentiation. What I mean by differentiation is all hospices are not created equal. I don't like a lot of the general public think that all hospices are the same, and they're not. People are getting smarter to that, but they're still thinking that all hospices are the same. The more a hospice can differentiate itself, I'm going to give you a couple specific examples in a minute, the more likely they are to be able to fulfill that mission objective, serving more people, and growing a good business strategy. Being able to do that. One of the programs that Greg is installing right now as we speak in Albuquerque, New Mexico, is a program called Flower Power. Very simple program, but very, very powerful. And that's basically where we engage. And the volunteer people in the organization run this program. It's basically where the volunteers recruit people to volunteer for the organization. So instead of going out and saying, hey, would you like to volunteer for hospice and come and talk to people that are dying? Who's going to want to do that? There's some people that may, but I submit to you that if you were to come up and say, hey, we have a very cool program where we go out and we gather flowers from flower shops and funeral homes that are going to be just discarded, refurbish them, and then give them out to people that are in need, you're going to have people knocking down your door to volunteer for that program. We've experienced that. And put the program in place, getting some volunteers where they meet once a week or every other week, whatever your schedule would be, and they hit a couple of funeral homes in the area or flower shops. And we've done this many times, and these organizations will throw out these flower shops at the end of 2 or 3 days, throw out flowers that are starting to wilt. And it's in funeral homes, a lot of folks will have their flowers donated to be able to go in there and take these flowers, bring them back to the hospice, refurbish them, put them in a little 99-cent vase, put a little note on it in the logo from the hospice, and take that out into the senior living communities or other referral sources, but specifically assisted living, independent living, nursing homes, and go in and say to the social worker or discharge planner, hey, we have a couple clients here. We wanted to provide our flowers to our patients. But is there anybody else here who's a little lonely, maybe hasn't had a visitor in a little while? And they go, oh, yeah, Mrs. Smith in 203 and Mary in 405. And we stop by and just make their day a little bit brighter. It's a great way to differentiate your hospice in terms of how it commits and services the community in a small but very significant way. So program differentiation is essential if you're really serious about growing. And that's also by looking at issues around eligibility, folks. And I'm going to spend some time next week maybe talking more about eligibility. But hospices are leaving patients behind. What I mean by that is by being so anal, so uptight, that they're going to go to jail because they didn't meet every little specific thing. They don't admit a hospice patient, and then the hospice patient goes without service. Specific example. A hospice in New Mexico. This is a hospice that Greg's working at right now. They went out, and there was this client that their patient didn't quite meet eligibility. Bottom line, they didn't bring that patient on. Guess what happened to that patient in a week? The patient died. So you're not telling me that that patient was on hospice eligible way long before we looked at him. So sitting down, getting to the program differentiator and creating a culture of growth is what we advocate for, is developing eligibility committees where not one person has a responsibility needing to make the go, no-go decision on a hospice patient, but draw upon the collective wisdom of a set panel of people that can really scrub that patient to make sure we're not leaving any patient behind. And guys, I don't know about you, but that's what I got into healthcare for, is not to deny people access, but to look for every freaking reason to be able to get them a benefit they're entitled to. So those are just two quick programs. The Flower Power program is very, very cool. And the eligibility program, because you can actually promote that, looking at, as you work with hospitals and doctors, to let them know about what our eligibility process is, and we take this very seriously. One, it really enhances our ability to make sure we're compliant from a regulatory standpoint and that we're not admitting any inappropriate patients. But what it does, it allows us to really make sure we're turning over every leaf and looking for a way to provide a patient and family the gift of hospice. And there's nothing better than being able to give the gift of hospice. I've experienced that myself personally and in my professional career, and it's a wonderful thing. So I just wanted to give you a little perspective from hospice advisors. Greg and I really, really advocate for this, is program differentiation. And I like you and I'm challenging you to start thinking, how can you, and this is what I'm going to be doing when I go up to Philadelphia and work with this group in Philadelphia, is how can you tap into the power of the interdisciplinary team to bring more value to your referral sources and the people that you serve, and to differentiate yourself so that people really understand what your organization stands for and how it practices providing the gift of hospice. So with that, I'll say have a great May 1st. I'll be back next week and we can chat a little bit more. But till then, if you have any questions on any of this, and I'm very transparent, here's my cell number. You can call me anytime. It's 734-658-6162. Take care. Bye-bye.